KFMA.com. You want it? You got it. Reality radio done right. No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live on Rock 1 2.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide at KFMA.com on this beautiful Friday of March 22nd. Good morning, Weirdo.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tucson. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. We're going to close out the week strong for you. Got a couple top opportunities for you to win tickets for Dimitri Martin at the Fox Theater, and one opportunity to win tickets for Stone Temple Pilots live and Soul Asylum. And that's going to be coming up around 8 o'clock this morning. So on top of that, two more keywords that you could text in so you could be a Rock 1 2.1 Cash Pow winner and score yourself $2,024. We only have one more week of doing this, by the way.
Oh,
yeah.
It's finally here.
I know. We thought it was just a never-ending promotion. It is ending next week. So you got 6 more opportunities, or 6 more days, I should say, to score yourself $2,024. We've been giving away $2,024 each and every day. And it's been really cool. And we've had our listener, Samantha, be the lucky winner this week, which was huge for her. And, she was dealing with a lot of financial struggles. And she just felt the relief instantly that this is going to help while she waits for her disability check. Super sad situation, a stressful situation that many Americans find themselves in on a regular basis.
Yes.
And, I'm glad that the company is in a position to pay them and help out our listeners. So it's good. I'm an empathetic person. Unlike, there might be some people who don't believe that, depending on which rant I might do during the day. I know a lot of people are waking up today upset because their brackets got busted. Each and every year, this happens. Right?
Day one, done.
No, yeah, pretty much. And it's usually, you always see these stats like here's the official stat. Only 0.064% of people in the country still have a valid bracket. Yes.
What?
Yes. Less than 1% of people who filled out a bracket officially still have their bracket in the running because Kentucky got upset by Oakland last night. Now we'll have Justin Spears a little bit later give us the rundown, all the particulars on that. But it's pretty funny because it was this goofy white dude from Oakland who looks like Chandler Bing, who was the Achilles heel to Kentucky. And once you see this guy, you're like, no way is he a basketball player. He looks like an accountant. And he's like straight up like, yeah, I'm never going to make it to the NBA. But, I believe in myself in this stage, and I'm here to upset everybody's dreams. And we're like, way to go, dude. All
Nice.
right. 10 3-pointers, this guy nailed.
Oh,
Yeah, with
nice.
a haircut straight out of 1987. Like, you're just like, what world are we living in? It's very odd. Yesterday was Roadhouse Day. We talked about Roadhouse. We were anticipating Roadhouse. When I went home after I got done with all the extra work I had to do for the day and all my stupid little video editing, I sat down, I put on Roadhouse, which is exclusively on Amazon Prime. For whatever reason, they did not release it to the movie theaters. And what an abysmal movie, man.
Oh, no.
I'll tell you what.
I was hopeful.
Look, I've seen comments saying it's so bad it's good. And, to each his own. If, you enjoy that type of cinema, for sure. There's some interesting moments in it. The cinematography can be construed as beautiful, certain like the location, they're set in the Florida Keys. So, it's like tropical. So that kind of, makes you feel like, yeah, I want to go party at that Roadhouse. Kind of reminds me of Rocky Point. I dig that. There's fight scenes, of course. There's male nudity. So, there's certain aspects that people will appreciate. And the reason why they remade Roadhouse in the first place, because it's such a cult classic movie, right? And it was revealed recently in an interview that Roadhouse is like the #1 movie to air at 2 a.m. on TBS or TNT.
Oh, okay.
And the reason is because when people come home drunk from the bars and they turn on the TV and it's on, they tend to watch it. It's the highest rated movie in that time slot.
Wow.
Yeah, which says a lot in a way, right? One, it's like it's like continuing your night somehow.
Yeah.
2, you have to be wasted to really thoroughly enjoy Dalton do his, bouncer antics. or you're vicariously trying to live through the character. I don't know. But Conor McGregor's in it, and I'll tell you what, dude. Like Conor McGregor, who does seem like he's coked out in all these interviews that he's doing. He does, and say allegedly, but a lot of people are saying, "Hey, man, like slow down on the powder, brother."
Mhm.
Right? And I'm not saying he's on coke or not. I'm just saying, like, I see the argument. He was talking about in interviews of how he might even go the route of Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they're going to build a bunch of movies around him and all that based off his appearance and performance in Roadhouse. I'm just like, I don't know about that, bro. I'd stick to the octagon. You need to get back in the octagon ASAP because the acting there just seemed crazy. Like, are you supposed to be the Terminator or are you supposed to be human? Like, what the hell's going on here? It's a hot mess of a movie, dude. And again, it might be such a hot mess that people will like revere it and it'll be a cult classic, or cooler senses may prevail and be like, no, it just sucks.
Did you watch it all the way through or did you turn it off?
I watched it all the way through.
All the way. Wow, you were committed.
It's over 2 hours long. It is. It's a long ass movie, dude. And the only reason why I stuck through it all the way through is because a lot of beach scenes, and again, the tropical setting, because I'm not in Mexico. I don't have any plans to be in Mexico in the foreseeable future, and I'm kind of missing it. So I'm like, this is the closest I'm going to get to spring break. So and I'm like, oh yeah, well, I've had some pretty crappy spring breaks too, so reminiscent of that. So we got a lot to get to. Of course, your morning moron. We're going to get you some weird news, and our phone lines are open if you want to give us a shout. 600-KFMA, 600-5362. Am I wrong about Roadhouse? Did you watch it? Did you love it? Let me know. We got music on the way from Skillet. We'll kick things off with live. Those are going to be tickets that we're going to be giving away here at 8:10 this morning on Rock 102.1. Here's I Alone. You know the name of the show. Let's go. Skillet. And we're back here live. Welcome back to the show. We do have an early podcast, and I didn't mean to get your hopes up there, Jeff. I did see your comment here. Like, yeah, 2-hour podcast. Not today. Weirdo's taking off at 9.
I am.
And I decided that, and Weirdo fucked up. Let's be honest. Okay. What time did you tell me this?
I think I texted you like 5 or 6 yesterday.
Yeah, 5 or 6. Way past.
Okay, because I'm running off of 2 different schedules now, right? I've got the scheduling system that's at my new job at the salon, and then still my Google Calendar, and I forget to check both.
Yeah, I understand, and and it's fine. But
I miss bossy pants now.
Yeah, so we decided the Audible would be since it's Friday and stuff. We'll do the podcast from 8 to 9, and then just do music in the 9 o'clock hour. Take off an hour early because I was gonna have Spears join us, but he's doing his overtime podcast, and I didn't have time to book any extra guests going on. And honestly, we'll just kickstart the weekend. I got to go up to Phoenix this weekend for Big Jim's 70th birthday, so got to prepare for that. I'm excited about that. Hanging out with my second family up there, and then I think we might be doing Renaissance Fair on Sunday. Are you still planning on doing that?
Oh yeah, and it's Viking weekend. Like my 10-year-old's like his hair's almost shoulder length, and he's like, yeah, I'm ready to cut it, go shorter. And my boyfriend was like, bro, we got to do Viking braids on Sunday, and he's like, yeah, I guess I can wait. Yeah, because they both have long enough hair for us to do Viking braids and stuff. So yeah, so we'll be a little dressed up.
Nice. Yeah, I know Rico's excited about it as well. He was hoping to carpool, but I think I'm spending the night up in Phoenix on Saturday, so should be able to hit it on the way back, depending on how I feel. So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
I got my passes ready to go. Be great. If I'm hungover, if I got 3 sheets to win, and I have like a designated driver in Corey, one of my best friends, and I'm crashing at her house. And with Jim, we go hard and paint, man. We're tequila bros, right? Jim is a surrogate father of mine. I love this man. He was a badass. He was trying to sell legal weed before it was legal. So he was selling illegal weed, but he was getting ready for it in the 70s. He was just a big bouncer dude. Think Roadhouse, but less gay.
Okay.
And
straighter.
Yeah. And and so I know that when he did a little prison time. He also made a lot of money, had a beautiful family. He's a good dude, and I just know that it's going to be a celebration. 70 years, and I know the spirits are going to be flowing. So yeah, that's what I'm preparing for. And to be honest with you, I've been dry as far as drinking is concerned.
Really?
Yeah, I have not. I have not gotten drunk in at least a month. But yeah, I mean, I'm not even like sipping on alcohol, and there's no real reason as to why. I just haven't been going out spending money and drinking. So I'm gonna break that streak real fast.
You're gonna die.
No, stop. Why would you say that?
Alcohol poisoning?
No, my liver's still intact. We're good.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna do music news right now. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So let me just change this up. What up, Tan? And here we go. Yes, you can tell by the sound of that intro. It's time for your music news with Weirdo. What do you got for us, Weirdo?
Well, we got the Christian new metal rockers POD building up to the release of their new album on May 3rd called Veritas with a new single called Lies We Tell Ourselves.
Yeah, and I believe Razor played that in Incoming, and this is their 11th album, so POD is back. That's good. Why did they take so long to release a new album?
They took time, especially Sonny. He was doing a lot of local stuff in San Diego, and they all just kind of took a break. Plus, let's not lie, they weren't exactly topping the charts with their last album, Circles. So, but it's continuing this kind of trend with them. I did listen to the track. There's an actual traditional guitar solo in it, which is kind of nice. We don't hear that as much anymore.
Right.
And also, they're getting into some unclean vocals, right? They had Randy Blythe of Lamb of God on the single Drop.
Yeah.
Plus they had Tatiana from Ginger on that single. And now they've got their guitarist, Marcos, who's also doing some unclean vocals. So they're kind of going with that almost little metalcore inspired trend.
Okay, so it's not full-blown nostalgia of the early new metal sound.
No.
It's embracing the new style, which is metalcore, which is really in right now.
Yeah.
And mixing it with their previous stuff.
Yeah, and when you listen to the lyrics of Lives We Tell Ourselves, it's kind of like they had a previous single 10, 12 years ago called Beautiful. And it's kind of that inspiring thing. And he said that this is the antithesis to the Veritas, which means truth, and then this is the lies we also tell ourselves.
Okay.
So it's kind of got this back and forth creative flow going.
Deep. I know that,
super deep.
I know Sonny's Christian, but it sounds like he's been smelling that San Diego air.
Yeah, for real.
Picking up what I'm putting down. What else you got going on in music news?
Well, Dave Grohl not only got to write the dedication to Lemmy's graphic novel that's coming out, Lemmy from Motorhead, but he's also written a song about one of his best friends, Josh Homme, which is from Queens of the Stone Age.
Yes, of course, and it's legendary that he was on the Songs for the Death album, which was the breakthrough album for Queens of the Stone Age and Josh Homme. Yeah. So they have a friendship that's still endures after all these years.
Absolutely, yeah. And for Josh Homme, he had the Sweet Stuff Foundation charity event, and that's when Dave Grohl premiered the song for him. Because again, we also know, we reported not too long ago, Josh Homme had a rough 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, he did.
Cancer, divorce, on so many things.
Yeah, and his bro was always there. Sounds like a very romantic relationship. I'm kind of envious.
Yes.
It actually kind of sounds like me and Rico.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah, all right.
A little.
What else you got going on?
Derek Wembley of Sum 41 is going to be releasing a memoir, which is kind of titled after, Heaven and Hell, which is the new album that they've got coming out in a couple weeks. But it's called Walking Disaster, My Life Through Heaven and Hell.
Well, I mean, it has been noted the downfall and the rock bottom of Derek Wembley for many years. The fact that he's still alive is pretty much a miracle.
It really is.
And now Sum 41's calling it quits after all these years when it seems like things are going good for him.
Right. It seems to be that they've picked steam back up, especially with all the nostalgia fever that's happening right now for the 2000s punk and new metal scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, that will be out on October 4th.
So is he quitting music so he could be a full-time author?
I hope not. I mean, memoirs are great, right? But just because you're a talented musician doesn't mean you're talented in other things.
Fair enough. All right. And you got one more story for me in music news?
Yes. Unfortunately, Tom DeLong could not handle 95-degree heat at 11 o'clock at night in Paraguay.
Ooh.
So
well, that's Phoenix summer hot, though.
That is serious. And humidity, which is awful.
Yeah.
So it is not an unknown secret that their set list for the tour they're on now and then bringing to the United States, it's 27 songs.
Yeah.
It's insane. Now, granted, it's Blink. Their average song is 2 minutes and 50 seconds. But during the 11th song of their set, Tom DeLong was like, I'm not feeling great. You can see it in the picture. His shirt is soaked and he just starts to get a little wobbly and then he collapsed.
Oh, no.
So, but thankfully there was Mark and Travis taking over, kind of doing a little break song kind of thing. got himself together, and then went on to play another 17 songs.
Holy hell. So they were only 10 songs into their set where he like passed out, and then they're just like, suck it up, Buttercup, and then continued for 17 songs?
He was the one that said, suck it up, Buttercup, because they actually did have paramedics on site ready to take him to the hospital and end the show.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, I got this. And he did post to Twitter a picture about a minute before he collapsed, and it's from the back, but like he is just kind of hunched over, like rubbing his head, not feeling good.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I can imagine. And that's brutal. You're in front of like 20,000 people, or if not more. And you feel like that. It's got to be one of the worst scenarios you could ever be in. That's surprising that what?
I just realized, thankfully, they're going to be playing Phoenix July 3rd.
I know. Well, they're going to be indoors though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that should be on their rider from here on out.
Exactly.
The boys are getting old.
I need to roll around AC with me, please.
Yeah. Starting off music news with the San Diego band, ending it with the San Diego band. We're going to hit the reset. When we come back, your opportunity to win tickets for Stone Temple Pilots, Alive and Soul Asylum. Weirdo's going to give us a Hummer on a Friday, and it's going to be right after this song by Local H. Bound to the floor on Rock 102.1 KFMA. Don't go anywhere. Where are you going? Nowhere. All right, we're clear. All right, and good music news. Yeah, so we're gonna bang out a Hummer, and then we'll play a clip, and we got a whole bunch of more stuff as we're keeping the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. Let's see. And it's good to see you, 10. Like I said, dang, let's see. I haven't drank in 7 hours, but who's counting?
Manny, that's a record for you, buddy.
I'm not anti-alcohol for sure. I just haven't had. First off, I've been spending a lot of solo time, which is not fantastic. So I haven't been social, and I don't drink by myself. Because that's a sign of alcoholism and stuff. And I just, I'm very conscious of that.
So do you only drink when you go out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I usually only drink when I want to get drunk, right? So I'm not the type of person that wastes like empty calories or money. To like if I go out to dinner to have like a drink, a $15 drink isn't appealing to me if it's not going to give me the buzz that I desire.
Right.
And weed is a thing. So it's not like I've been like sober. I've been stoned for sure. Smoking a little bit of weed when I feel like I want a buzz, but yeah, I haven't necessarily been drinking, and it's fine. But that changes this weekend. I'm definitely going to drink, and I'm looking forward to it as well. And I also look forward to I'm like, shit, man, we're fastly approaching on April. And around like the second week of April, I usually go to Rocky Point. That's not going to happen this year. I know. Well, the previous years occurred because like birthday anniversary stuff.
Yeah.
So and last year when I went to Rocky Point, if you remember, I went without my girlfriend. So she decided not to go, and it was this big mess of a deal. And I had this non-refundable stuff, so I just went anyways. Right. Still ended up having a good time, but it wasn't an ideal situation by any means. But that doesn't change the fact that I still want to go. I just, like right now, I feel the saying that I'm thinking is financial paralysis, right? Like I have my daughter's graduation coming up, right? I have a bunch of things I need to spend money on, responsibilities I have to spend money on. So I do have some money that's saved up because I work with Roadrunners and everything else, but I already have that kind of obligated, so I can't selfishly spend it on me getting wrecked in Rocky Point right now. And I want to, but at the same time, I definitely want to be able to take care of these other things, make sure my daughter has a good graduation party and all that good stuff.
Right. I don't know why it just dawned on me. We both have seniors.
Yeah.
Like my second oldest is going to be graduating this year, but we're gonna do some awesome stuff for him. We're gonna keep it real small time. He wasn't super stoked on like a big graduation party.
Yeah, and not that my daughter is too, but there's certain things. I mean, she's still a female, so she's costly, and that's how that works. It's expensive.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna read you guys an email that I got as a complaint where I talked about that homeless guy in the McDonald's drive-thru, and the Karen that sent this email, who's not necessarily a listener, she was offended at me saying that I'm one paycheck away from being homeless, and my GM was like, that's not true, is it? And I'm like, it's not untrue. You sign my checks. How do you know? Like, what do you think? I'm like rich? Come on now. Right. So anyways, let's get on the air. Rock 2.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. That was Bound to the Floor by Local H, and we have tickets to give away for 90s bands just like Local H. It's a fantastic show that's happening up in Phoenix in August at the Arizona Federal Theater. Stone Temple Pilots, Soul Asylum, and Live all sharing the stage. And I want to play a game. 600 KFMA, 605-362. The name of the game is Weirdo's Hummer. She's going to hum you a song. You got to tell me what song and by what artist Weirdo is humming. If you could answer it correctly at 600 KFMA, 605-362, those tickets for Stone Temple Pilots, Live, and Soul Asylum, those are yours. And it's the last pair of tickets I have to give away this week. So without further ado, Weirdo, can you bless us with a hummer?
Oh, I would love to.
I would love it if you did too. It is Friday.
It is.
All right, here we go.
Ready?
Really get into it. Yeah. Nice. Hit those high notes. I like those high notes. Now go low. Yeah, all right. All right. That's too much for a Friday. I'm like, woo! All right, let's go to the phones.
Why are you sweating?
Rock on 2.1. Who's this? Yo, say your name or they hung up. Oh, phone lines are open. Is it not obvious? Or did I make it too weird? 600 KFMA, 605-362. The first person who could correctly guess what song Weirdo was humming is going to win those tickets for Stone Temple Pilots, Live, and Soul Asylum. Rock 2.1, who's this?
This is Desiree.
All right, Desiree, give me that winning answer.
Okay, so I know it's Stone Temple Pilots.
Mm-hmm.
And the song is, hold on. Oh, shoot. It's like I lost it. Hold on. How long do I have? Do I have like
you don't have all day, that's for sure.
Oh, hold on. Take some time. Hold on, I want this so bad. Hold on. Stone Temple Pilots. Oh my gosh. Take some time. Is that what it's called?
Oh, that means no, Desiree. I'm so sorry. I know you want these tickets, but that is so far off. It's so far off. I have to go to the next phone call. I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
No problem. For 600 KMA, 605-362. This is killing Desiree right now, and I feel her pain. Brock 2.1, what's your name? Jose. All right. What's the name of the song that Weirdo was humming?
Stone Temple Pilots Creep.
That is correct.
Nice.
Yeah. Somewhere out there, Desiree is crying. Creep was the name of that song. I'm half the band I used to be.
Hey, killed it.
Yes. Oh, you like the Weirdo's Hummer, huh? Fantastic.
Oh, good.
I did.
Yeah, the fun fact about that, I was watching her hum the song and I noticed she did not use her teeth at all. Very impressive. Very impressive. All right, so stay on the line, Jose. He just scored yourself some tickets for Stone Temple Pilots, Live, and Soul Asylum. We're going to hit the reset. Be back with more Beef Vegan Presents after Linkin Park. It's Rock 2.1. Clear. All right, so I'm going to get Jose's info here. We're going to continue to be perverted animals. And earlier this morning, we did our morning moron. In case you missed it, one little something like this. Check it out. On my head, I'm Rock 2.1 KFMA. It's 6:16 and time for your morning moron. Let's do it. Weirdo, let me ask you a question. And it's not an insulting question. I'm not trying to be anyways. Have you ever identified as a witch?
In like junior high.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I felt like maybe that was a thing,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah. Well, the reason why I ask is because our morning moron today identifies as a witch, and she's an Iowa woman named Michelle Young, and she's under fire after allegedly doing something to a stranger's porch. And the reason why she did it was a very odd reason, an alibi. So the fire department, police department had to respond to an incident after a homeowner reported her porch on fire. And it was captured by security cameras, which showed this woman identified as Michelle Young, who's 46 years old, igniting something on the porch. Now, when
Nice.
police caught up to Young, which wasn't difficult to do because she was just kind of like moseying around the neighborhood, picking up odd items like tinfoil, car tail lights, bark, and a lawn flag.
Huh.
Yeah. They asked, like, what the hell happened? Well, why did you do this? And she claimed that she thought the home belonged to a friend of hers, noting the sign that read, "Witches welcome," right?
Okay.
And which she identifies with. She's like, I am a witch. They were welcoming me.
Yeah.
They weren't home, so I left the witch's calling card. I set their porch on fire. I'm like, witches be crazy. You don't just set a porch
the
on fire.
hell?
That's not how you say hi. Is that how witches say hi?
Not to my knowledge.
Right. Leave a voicemail, bro. Right. Anyways, yeah. So she admitted to starting the fire, but insisted she had no intention of harming anyone. It's just, again, like a calling card. But of course, when you set a wooden porch on fire, things burn.
Yeah.
Again, witches should know this. They should be familiar with fire and wood. Anyways, despite her assertion that she believed the porch belonged to her friend, it didn't matter. Friend or not, it was arson. So she was arrested, and she had been charged with reckless use of fire / explosives / destructive devices and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Oh, there we
which
go.
is, the
There we
least
go.
shocking part of this entire story. Dear Lord.
And then just walking around the neighborhood, just picking up random things
Uh-huh.
for a spell later. What are
Yeah.
you going to do with tinfoil and a car light?
Well, she's a witch. Who knows what she could come up with? I don't know all the recipes. And maybe she's like, oh, sweet. Yeah, no. Maybe she could magically make a porch reappear. So they should let her do her work. I do know one thing, though. I feel like the homeowners, once they get their porch repaired, are probably going to take that sign off and be like, witches, stay away.
Yeah.
Yeah, witches not welcome whatsoever. Any witch on this property is trespassing under the state of witch law. All right, because witches be crazy. And that is your morning moron. All right, you guys want to hear a Karen email?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So stupid.
I know this is pretty odd too. And she sent this to my GM, and this was obviously, not a listener. And it's not surprising because this week, Frank is taking a week off. So I think I know for a fact I have a lot of KLPXers listening to the show, because they're not listening to radio for music. And I don't think that many people, especially morning drive, listen to the radio for music. They listen for the content and community aspect of it. And that's what the value of what we do is to these radio stations. Some of them forget that, some of them don't. But that's neither here nor there. So this email read as follows. Hello, I'm contacting you first about an on-air conversation your host had on Monday at 7:42 a.m. He went on a tirade about a homeless man that was at McDonald's drive-in that he was going through. The on-air host said that he, the host, was one missed paycheck away from being this homeless man. He said this twice during his tirade. I was highly outraged by his tirade and will not listen to your station any longer as a result of your host's behavior. Right? First of all, why did he not question the lack of support of these individuals who he admittedly acknowledged have mental health issues? Right? Which I did admit they have mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, he had the audacity as a person of privilege and entitlement to twice make the statement that he, as an on-air radio host, could be in that person's position as a homeless person if he missed one paycheck, right? Can you please explain why this behavior is allowed and or encouraged on your radio station? I would expect this employee to be reprimanded at the very least for his erratic, unfeeling, and rude behavior. A response would be appreciated, right? And no response was given. So,
Oh my God, the response should be like, yes, he got his spankings.
yeah,
Everything will be okay.
I know. And the fact that I said a lot of offensive things during that rant, and it wasn't a tirade. And, a lot of it was, for comedic purposes. Like I'm not going to steal a box of Snickers. But
Right.
the valid point is that, if he can get away with stealing things from a CVS, there really is no security there. So I'm pretty sure I can get whatever I want if
Right.
I chose to do that, but I don't. Okay. Yeah. And she's obviously not a listener because she kept referring to me as an on-air host. And we do pretty good when it comes to name branding
Yeah.
on this station. So I easily could have said beef. I mean, it's a very memorable name. And she could have said anything that alluded to her listening more than once or even the whole conversation, right? And is she upset because I'm not financially affluent? Like, how dare you put a poor person on the radio? He's one
Right.
paycheck away from being homeless. What the fuck kind of garbage is that? Am I listening to? When I turn on the radio, I expect to listen to some white person that at least makes six figures
and owns 9,200 Adidas.
Yeah, dude. Right. I know. So, like, I'm sorry if that analogy of me being empathetic enough to try to put myself in this person's shoes, saying it's not an impossible scenario to be homeless, was that offensive to you, Karen? But my cost of living is about $300 more a month than my income if it wasn't for my second job.
Right.
So I'm sorry that's your takeaway from that is that how dare he say that he could possibly be in this situation? We all don't have safety nets and 401ks.
No.
It's a very, the reality is I would bust my ass to make sure I wouldn't be in that situation.
Correct.
Right. And I guess the entitlement is I don't have the mental issues that would prevent me from doing that, but at the same time, sometimes jobs are hard to get.
Well, and they've also they've proven that so right now more than half of Americans live paycheck to paycheck and are literally one crisis away from homelessness.
Yeah, right.
Period. And I was one of those people. I mean, there was times we were threatened to be evicted because we just were not making it.
Yeah, and essentially, saying one missed paycheck is saying something catastrophic,
right?
That financially could, impact that nobody sees coming. Right. Could definitely put that kind of stress onto you to where it puts you in that position. And there's a lot of people that unfortunately would be in that situation. So
right. But they've done the studies out there that those who end up unexpectedly becoming homeless, not because of drugs, not because of mental health to begin with, but once they are homeless, then they're, the depression, the anxiety, all those things kick in. And then it becomes that cycle that they can't get out of.
Right.
So,
now, of course, this woman, this Karen, she sounds woke, right? And I came across the story of woke. And as we know what woke it means, and woke is used as a weapon. It's weaponized from the right, the extreme right, to categorize everybody that's on the left. But it's not everybody that's on the left, right? Think about this, okay? Put a 0 in the middle of this scale. And then on the right side of the scale, to the 100% is your extreme right, right? And they're basically 85 to 100%. That's the extreme right, speaking up for the other 85%. And then same thing on the opposite end of the scale, right? You got, from 85% to 100%, right? That last 15% to the left is the woke.
Yes.
That are trying to, speak for representatives for the other 85% of the people who lean left, which again, I believe that the majority of Americans are in between the 50% range, 50 to 60% range, any given direction, right? And not as extreme. But of course, it's the extreme that are the loudest.
Yes.
Here's the problem of being woke, which is, again, an extreme and does not define people who lean liberal, right? Or even maybe considered even extremely liberal. The woke is the extreme of the extreme.
Yeah.
But a study found that woke people are more prone to stress and anxiety. And this shouldn't surprise you at all. The university professor from Finland, which Finland, by the way, was named the #1 happiest country in the world again for the 7th year in a row. America was 23rd. All right. So university professor from Finland has decided to quantify and study the effects of being woke. The study, published in the Scandinavian Journal of Psychology, found that people determined to be woke had higher instances of depression and anxiety and were more likely to report lower mental well-being. In all, 851 people who were surveyed in the study and the sample were later expanded to 5,000 people. And then they were able to come up to this conclusion. So it leads to higher anxiety and more depression because of this extreme outrage that you're feeling on a 24/7 cycle.
Correct. And you're also looking at all the news cycles and everything else. And you kind of get to a point where you start to look for it.
Right.
I was one of those people in 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
Because again, just reading everything and George Floyd and all this stuff. And then eventually I had to back off and be like, this is too much.
Yeah. Well, you got to just recognize and take a step back. And there's a new college course talking about media literacy. They're trying to teach the next generation about media literacy because a lot of people are media literate. They'll take a headline that they see in social media, expand on it, and believe it. as opposed
Right.
to checking the source and seeing what the I guess the motivating factor is behind that headline.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times,
It's clickbait.
well, not only clickbait, but maybe there's a purpose, a dubious purpose behind saying these things to make you
Mhm.
feel a certain way,
Right.
to behave a certain way. So that's neither here nor there. We got to get back on the air and not talk about any of this stuff. Oh yes, all right. We've been conversating on the podcast broadcast, and welcome back to the show. It's 8:30 here on Rock 102.1. You're our resident sexpert, weirdo.
I am.
Yes, and you're proud of that, and
I
I'm
am.
proud of it as well. And I have a little bit of experience as well, but I wouldn't consider myself a sexpert when I'm in your company, and that's why I want to ask you about this very silly list that I came across.
Okay.
These are allegedly kitchen items that could add to your sex life.
Oh God. Okay.
Well, look, okay, you're always experimenting. You got the multiple lovers being in a polyamorous cube. Don't come at her. It's her happy lifestyle that four of them have all agreed on. Okay. Now, when spicing things up in the bedroom, for those of us who have just one old born partner, we could always go to the kitchen and utilize some things to kind of help make things hotter.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give you an example of something, and you tell me what you would use this for.
Okay.
In a radio friendly way, and I'll see if you're right on or not. And
Or we have to hit the dump button.
yeah, right. So the first one is plastic wrap. Plastic wrap. Would you use this in the bedroom? It's from the kitchen.
Huh. I mean, my mind's going what it could be used for.
I'll tell you what it could be used for. Some light bondage. Plastic wrap can do
Yeah.
the trick, right? It's light, it's inexpensive, it's stretchy, it's sticky, it's effective. Just don't wrap it too tightly. That's what they say.
Right. Right. You want to avoid airways and all that good stuff. And you live out your best Dexter dreams.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I wouldn't go there, but okay. Candle wax, of course, that's a cliche. We'll move on. Pastry brush. Pastry brush is something that they
Ooh.
said. They said it's not just for baking. What would you use a pastry brush for?
I mean, just kind of doing that kind of like sensations.
Okay.
Like, like kind of like almost like a feather kind of thing.
All right.
Just kind of see if that gets it a little tantalizing.
All right. Yeah, that's exactly what they said. To apply massage oil or any of that to lightly brush your partner's skin for a sexy tickling sensation.
Mm-hmm.
Bonus points if you combine it with a blindfold. All right.
Ooh.
This one I thought was only for single women trying to conceive, the turkey baster. So, is there any?
Uh-huh. I
Okay,
mean, that would be the only thing that I could think of.
All right. Well, they say it's an effective tool that can be used to seductively drip wax, oil, or lotion on your partner. I think that's kind of weird and gross.
Just
and I would
tip the lotion. Okay.
They added chocolate and caramel sauce, of course, ice cubes
That
for
is
sure.
okay. Can I just be somebody that like with whipped cream, chocolate, any of that? Like I've done that like a couple of times. It is not worth it. It is sticky and awful, and I don't like it.
I'm 100% in agreeing with you. Food play is pretty messy and definitely not worth the hassle. And, I mean, honestly, how much do you really love food? So they say wooden spoon.
Yes.
See, you would do that. I wouldn't bust out the wooden spoon because it would bring back a flood of memories and trauma. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Okay, this one seems scary. The pizza cutter. Yeah. Now, okay.
I think I know why.
Okay, what would you say?
Okay, so there is something. It looks like a spur, and it's on like a little stick, and you roll it, and it's supposed to poke you. So I could imagine somebody else doing that with a pizza cutter, but hopefully it's decently dull. Otherwise, you're going into razor play, and that's a whole other category.
Right, and you don't want to do razor play. We don't definitely encourage that. So they say in this article that I read, immediately they knew people were going to be like, I'm out. And they're like, wait, hear us out on this one. You just need to be very careful here. Lightly rolling a pizza cutter over the skin can result in sexy sensations. Just don't be an idiot and press down too hard with it.
Right.
Yeah. But a pizza cutter might be a good way to get a pizza ass. You know what I'm saying? So, all right.
Now, to be fair, growing up, I don't think our pizza cutter was ever actually that sharp.
Still, it seems dangerous. Anything that's like kind of knife-like or used for chop. All right. This next one was chopsticks. What would you use chopsticks for?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I guarantee you use something like this. They say a couple of chopsticks combined with rubber bands can create handy tools to excite someone who might be into pinches. Things like that.
Oh, just go
Right.
get a clothespin.
right, yeah. Or you could just use chip clips because that was their final suggestion. Same as chopsticks, but bigger. Just make sure to opt for the plastic chips rather than the metal ones,
Yeah.
or the plastic clips, I should say.
Yeah.
But there you go. There's some everyday household kitchen items that you could use in the bedroom. So with this list, would you agree with most of them or disagree with most of them?
I would agree with most of them, actually.
You would. You
Yeah.
kitchen freak.
Mhm.
All right. Keeping the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. Got more right after this. Rock 102.1. Clear. All right. See, what a hard 180 too from our conversation on our stream going into kitchen sex stuff. So you guys still with us? Good. All right.
Okay, well, I came across a list on Reddit, and I want to see if you have done these things as a male.
Okay. Well, it sounds like a dirty list, so let's get right into it.
Okay. All right. So what has every man done at least once in his life?
Okay.
You know, of course, there was all these like snarky answers, you know, things like that. Like, oh, I'm actually a Swiftie. Every male is a Swiftie. I'm like, no. So I picked 10. So peed where we weren't supposed to.
Well, yeah. I mean, it really depends on what you're talking about. But yeah, I've peed a lot of places. A lot of times, you know, when I have a house too, and even my house now. Well, I only have one bathroom, so if I have to pee, I'm peeing in the backyard. But you know, at my house in Phoenix, you know, I have my own bathroom in my room. And then I have a sliding glass door going to my backyard. Many a times I chose to go pee in the backyard than pee in the toilet in my bathroom.
Why?
It's a man thing.
Okay.
You know, in fact, actually, I saw this viral picture of like snow, a snow-covered porch,
Mhm.
and you see footprints on the porch. And the headline was, "I told my husband to stop peeing off the porch, and he told me he stopped." But it basically, the footprints basically knocked him out.
Yeah.
That he kept peeing off the porch. It's something, and every guy on this stream can
Primal.
attest to it. You know, whipping it out, letting it freely just go, is a good feeling. You don't have to worry about, you know, aiming, splashing, secondary streams, any of that stuff. You're just a man. You just got your dong out with the air on, you know, hitting it. And
Okay.
yeah. And
Giving
you
it a
could
little air.
literally jumping jacks. You can do all this stuff. You could have a great time with it. Let's go to the phone and see if this is a complaint here. Rock 102.1. Who's this?
Morgan,
Morgan, what's up?
is your website down right now?
Is my Wi-Fi down?
Website.
Oh, you know what? I feel like it is down right now. I saw a comment, I think, on our podcast broadcast stream talking about the website. So streamers,
Yeah, I can't get it to load.
Yeah. I'll email that to our head guy, I guess. So who would be in charge of that? I don't even know. Honestly, I mean, that's not even an engineering thing. But yeah, unfortunately, it looks like it is, Morgan. I
Yep.
appreciate the heads up. Are you trying to stream the show?
I was trying to get the last cash cow word.
Well, the last cash cow word was bills, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So bills, like BILLS. So go ahead and text that. And then if you want to join us on our shenanigans, you can stream us on YouTube at Beef Vegan. But if you're just looking for the keyword, text the word bills to 600 KFMA.
All right. Appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. Have a great weekend, Morgan.
You too. Bye.
So she didn't want to hang out on the stream. That's fine.
It's cool.
It's cool. That didn't hurt my feelings at all. Depending on what you talk about. All right. So yeah, the website's down, and it's probably a Miguel thing. He sucks at everything. So whatever. I mean, I don't even know who or why. I don't even care, honestly. And it's we have this. We have our own little very streaming
Right.
little platforms. But okay, yes, it makes us part of nature. Thank you, Jeff. Give me another example.
Okay. Unsticking your stuck balls, like to your thigh or whatever.
Yeah. The best way to do that is just a big step in any direction.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a good cup is there, but a big step usually can do it.
Okay.
If you see somebody just take an odd looking step to the left or right, they're separating balls,
Oh, great.
airing it out. And honestly, it gets hot. Those
Mhm.
thighs make it hot for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Patting the pockets to make sure you haven't lost anything, like, you know, your spectacles, your testicles, your wallet.
Always. In fact, actually, it's funny too, because one of my best friends I grew up with, John, he recognized this when I'm at a bar. My key move that I do is I got my wallet right here.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm in public places, it's almost like an OCD thing, right? I
Ah,
walking by everyone, I'll just go and like that. Like you
Quick
don't even
tap.
see, you don't even see what I'm doing,
mhm.
but like my fingers will go there checking my wallet. I'm constantly especially in crowded areas.
Yeah.
Just doing a quick pat down, making sure my wallet's still there. That's the only thing that has any like financial value
Right.
whatsoever, and it has all my key information, so
Mhm.
I protect it.
Okay.
And so yeah, the pat down is definitely a thing.
Okay. Pointed a stud finder at himself with a wide grin on his face.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
It's the ultimate dad joke, right?
It is.
Like,
It is. It is. It's great.
I
And
found the stud, guys.
where's the stud? Beep 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 beep
Right
beep,
here.
beep, beep, beep. There he is.
So-
Found it. Yeah.
All right. For anyone who's reached puberty, praying for an erection to remain unseen in public. Like, I could
no.
not imagine being a boy going through puberty.
Sounds like big erection problems. Never had that. Continue.
Okay. Measured his penis.
Oh yeah, multiple times a day.
Beer, shower beer.
Yes, done shower beer for sure. That's always a fun thing.
Okay, this one touched his balls and sniffed with pleasure.
Always. In fact,
What is
actually,
with that?
yeah, yeah.
You just want to smell yourself?
this is something that it's a habit I developed at an early age. It's something that I don't necessarily do too much anymore. So
Mhm.
the older I get, the less I do it, which is good. But unfortunately, every single relationship I've been in, every single girl knows that I have done this. And so, and I have done, and the thing is, as a chronic ball sniffer, you
Mhm.
never want to get caught sniffing your balls, but sometimes you do it out of reflex where you don't even know. And then you have to try to be smooth about it,
Ugh.
right? So like you're just like right? just go. And there's a lot of people out there, and guys, don't be afraid to admit it. If you've done it, it is not a bad sense.
So are you telling me that my husband and my boyfriend also do this and won't admit it?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Now they won't do it on gross days if they know it's going to be. Sometimes you got to do it as a check, but sometimes you just do it as a pleasurable. I don't know. There's got to be some chemicals. Or
Is it like smelling your own farts?
no, I think it's better than that.
Okay.
I joked about bottling up my ball fragrance as a cologne before.
Right.
Yeah.
Keeps ball sweat.
Yeah. So let's see. It's like a sniff test. Okay. Well, Beezy says it's sniff test not because he likes it. I'm the weird one. Who, like, I mean, I guess I just
Is
developed.
that part of like because you to me seem like an autosexual? Do you know what that is?
No.
Where you get turned on by yourself, pictures of yourself, videos of yourself, your scent, your anything like that. That is part of that.
Why do I come off like that? And you're not wrong, but why? Tell me exactly why.
Because you got an ego, son.
Oh, come on, dude. So I'm trying to like not do that. And so you're saying it's part of narcissistic traits that I have an ego and I turn myself on. I don't look at my own like nude pics or whatever, being like, oh, I'm going to spank so hard. I don't masturbate in the mirror. But you know, okay, autosexual. It's something that I'll have to address to my therapist later.
You got it. All right. And then has done the Silence of the Lambs tuck back.
Yeah. Well, you do that just to see if you can do it. And it's
Okay.
funny. Yeah, but that's a one-time.
My boyfriend actually did it in the shower one day. I was like, oh my God, you can do that? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, and then he thought I was starting to get bothered by it. Then I was like, get out.
Ah,
Don't know. I don't want a Ken doll.
yeah.
That's weird.
I know. That is too funny. All right. Autosexual. And that's the word of the day that we have learned. And
yes.
yeah. All right.
Unfortunately, I learned it from Kourtney Kardashian.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Kourtney Kardashian and all the Kardashians can be considered autosexuals.
Right.
And I feel like autosexual might be more of a female trait than a male trait.
Yes. That's what she backed up with is that like most women probably are autosexual.
Well,
And I must say, like, there's times that like I've taken some video and some pictures of myself with a partner and being like, damn.
yeah.
Like, and actually, I brought it up to my therapist. I was like, is this weird? And she's like, no, actually, I wish more women would do it because it gets you out of your own, self-image of yourself.
Negative headspace. Yeah.
Exactly. And I was like, damn, look
Good.
at me go.
So you're saying that it is like emotionally beneficial to be an autosexual, and that
I
probably
think
makes
so.
you a better person overall.
He does the like camera look like on The Office.
Yeah,
leaves.
Beezy said, and it's good to see you back on the stream, Beezy. He said it doesn't even need to make his hand a stranger. No, I'm like, oh, this is a nice looking hand. Oh yeah, that's the best looking hand. It's all right. No, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but it was only like a week ago that this whole thing with Kourtney Kardashian being like, I'm coming out as autosexual. First of all, you didn't need a coming out party. You're not that special.
that's true. Yeah.
But it was interesting because I was like, I don't think I had heard that term.
Right.
And then once it was explained, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
It does kind of make sense.
Mhm.
Well, I think that makes sense for women too, more so because they're so good at taking like very sexy pictures, right? And
Mhm.
so in a way, if you develop this skill, you know what's sexy, then you know what's a turn
Mhm.
on, because it kind of turns you on as well, right?
Yeah.
So you might be closeted autosexual, which is fine. I wish everyone was autosexual for sure.
There's nothing closeted about me.
That's damn true. Damn true.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that, Jeff. We got a top story here. I want to share a couple things. There's some bread stuff that I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about mewing. I was going to talk about incest. And this crazy revenge porn dude, FBI dude. Well, maybe we're not even going to save it on Monday, because Monday we're going to be talking with Kathy Griffin and Rome from Sublime with Rome, all in the podcast. It's going to be the weirdest podcast that you're ever going to see.
I was telling the owner of my gym about that, and he's like, and he immediately like went into a tirade about it, about Sublime with Rome and all of that drama.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, hopefully we'll get some tea.
It's a controversial podcast for sure. In fact, actually, let's get on the air. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beefy Presents. That is, of course, is POD. On Monday, we're going to have probably the most controversial broadcast that we ever had because of our guests. So at 9 a.m., we're going to be joined by Kathy Griffin, who's going to be performing at the Fox Theater. She's doing this like comeback tour. She battled not only being canceled, but also lung cancer and going through divorce and all this stuff. And now she's finally stepping back on the stage. And I know when I say that name, the knee-jerk reactions, half of you is like, I don't want to hear it. I hate, like they hate Kathy Griffin.
Right.
I don't hate Kathy Griffin. And I definitely want to hear that story. It's definitely been a very, very interesting few years for Kathy, and a career that she's had over 40 years in Hollywood, being a stand-up comedian, a female stand-up comedian, and doing all the things that she did, and literally having her livelihood taken away, and then her life threatened, and then trying to come back, rise from the ashes on that. That's going to be interesting. So we're talking with Kathy from 9 to like 9:30, and she doesn't even know it. We're going to try to keep her on that long. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. And
then we're talking with Rome from Sublime with Rome from 9:30 to 10. So you're talking one show, two completely opposite figures. And then Rome's not without controversy as well, because this Sublime and Sublime with Rome kind of fallout. There's a lot of tea there. And I'm trying as a show host what my goal is going to be, which is going to be a difficult feat, but I might be able to pull it off. And it's going to be very odd if I do, is get Kathy comfortable enough hanging out with us that she stays on with us while we talk with Rome, and then be able to communicate with both of them at the same time. So this is the podcast idea. You think of the four windows. You got me, Weirdo, Kathy Griffin, Rome, all hanging out, shooting the shiz. Are you out of your mind? This is going to be crazy, right? So that's happening on Monday. And
way to kick off a week.
Yeah. I mean, Kathy was even in the headlines just today, because in the celebrity news I didn't even get to, she actually had to hire a private investigator to track down her husband to serve him with divorce papers. So he bailed. It's going to be very interesting. And even the conversation with Rome, who I have had history with, this fallout with Sublime, I want to know how ugly it is. And they're always like, Rome, he could go two ways. He can either be reserved about the drama and the tea because of legal issues, or he could just spill. And, I talked to them before when they had the falling out with Lincoln Park at KFMA Day, and when I was up in Phoenix, and he was really hesitant to talk smack. And then he said, you know what? F it. And he just spilled, and he just roasted Brad from Lincoln Park for ratting them out for smoking weed. And it was a big deal. And it was like my first like national press interview that I received. So there is history there, and I am looking forward to it. But it's going to be crazy. Something to look forward to, I guess. And then there'll be big stories that we have to talk about. We're going to have to talk about this FBI revenge porn dude who was secretly recording sex videos of all of his partners. And he was an FBI agent in Oklahoma. And I think 80 women in total. And of course, being like a pervert, he never would destroy the evidence. So he got busted after he was outed by his ex-wife, his ex-fiance. Now more women are coming. And honestly, it would have been hearsay if he just could have worked up the nerve to delete the hard drive. But perverts cannot do that because they're like, what am I going to spank to? It's just little trophies.
Yeah.
So this guy is going to prison for a long time, and that's good. But we'll do a deep dive on that another time. And other news, well, honestly, we can't even get to that right now. There's so much to get to. Unfortunately, there's just so little time.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to move it to the podcast broadcast. We're going to wrap things up early on that end, but we got music on the way from STP. So you keep it right here. It's Rock 102.1. I know I'm all over the place.
Well, what gets me about this FBI thing, I know we're going to deep dive it, but good, you work for the FBI. Like,
yeah,
you should know all the ways to not get caught.
Well, no. Well, that's the thing, though. He was braggadocious. He's 45 years old. This is what this guy looks like here. This story is crazy. All right, so this is the guy. 45-year-old agent. Now, 3 women initially came out. So then he had a small handful of charges. Unfortunately, those charges, or fortunately, are now expanding because more and more women continue to come out and say, yeah, and being identified in these folders, right? Here's one of the women who dated him for 6 months and then for 4 years. They were engaged. He was like stepdad to her kids. So it wasn't like he was recording this to... I don't know if he was trying to leak it online, but essentially he was uploading his sexual trysts into a folder for Spank Bank. He's a sex addict,
yeah,
for sure. And it's being an FBI agent, he knows all the different little spyware to be able to use.
Yeah.
But what he did was he bragged to her fiance that he had these and showed her some of the stuff, allegedly. Now, when he was being interviewed by his colleagues, about this alleged crime, he's like, why would I do that? Why would I, brag to somebody that I love, that I have these videos, right? But he's kind of like a master manipulator, right? And it kind of checks out with the behavior that he was kind of exhibiting before. And so it made sense. So essentially this guy was recording and documenting his entire sexual experience and run. And then he would have folders under their names. And about 80% of them, 80% of them were all sexually explicit material. So it wasn't that he was just like locking in all of the videos that he secretly shot, which I think most of them were secretly shot, but I'm sure some of them were consensually shot, right?
Yeah.
But then all the pictures that was sent, and then of course he was sending like nude pictures he would get of girls who was buddies, like, hey, check out this chick, and you're not supposed to do that, right? You're not supposed to send it. You could just. So you shouldn't do any of that.
No, because it's implied that she is only sending it to you, dude. Do not share it. Do not show it.
Right. So yeah, that's part of. Yeah, that's a big deal. And then there was another story that I wanted to get to about incest in America, which is a massive story. And then so what we'll probably do on Monday for the podcast is we will give you that supersized podcast for sure. We're gonna have to, and then we'll get into Kathy Griffin and Rome all in the same day, and we're just gonna see what happens. So it might be
it's gonna be a fever dream.
Well, you don't know. I mean, it might be like I get 5 minutes with both of them, or 10. 10 is the courtesy, right? So if it would not surprise me if Kathy goes on, she gets a hard 10, she kind of wraps things up, gives an excuse that she got to go, but at the same time, me. I have the ability, and the goal is to get to know somebody on a personal level and make them feel comfortable. And for Kathy, I have genuine questions for her, and they're not got you questions, because I do feel whatever your opinion is of her comedy or political beliefs, I do feel that her story is a fascinating one.
It is
one of, reaching heights and depths and everything in between. And then the potential comeback and getting back on your feet. That's kind of like, that's a human story. So that's why when I got the opportunity to interview her, I said yes. Now, Rico was like, he wasn't even going to be in the room when I was going to interview Kathy, because I was supposed to do it on Thursday.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm out. And I'm like, that's such a short-sighted way to look at it, right? But I wasn't gonna fight it. I would have talked to her by myself. We would have had a moment, maybe a Chardonnay afterwards, and laugh. All right. Lisa said, let's wrap it up on this note. The smelling your hands after scratching your balls probably has a correlation to worrying about how your hands smell thing. Yeah. That's a good callback for the week. We're going to wrap things up here on the live side. I'm going to play a clip that we recorded earlier about Weirdo doing weird news. Weirdo's got to go teach some hairstylists how to do some hairstylist shit. But I appreciate you all. I hope you guys have a great weekend. 10, have a massive show at Rialto Theater as the world burns on Saturday night. If you guys are looking for something to do, definitely go out to Rialto and rock local. And I appreciate all you guys. Thank you guys for watching the early stream. I'll see you on Monday morning. And thanks for the comments. Keep them coming. All right. And before we leave, though, earlier this morning, Weirdo got weird. In case you missed it, well, a little something like this. KFMA, welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. It's time for your Rock 1 2.1 Cash Pow keyword. Break out your phones. Text the word cash to 600 KFMA. That's 600-5362 for your chance to win $2,024. Or just a reminder, the more you text, the more you're qualified to win. You know, it increases your odds. Better than the odds of you having a perfect bracket in the NCAA tournament. You can get more. Yeah. Get more info at KFMA.com. Message data rates that may apply. But again, that word is cash to 600 KFMA, 600-5362. It's a time to cover all the weird news that's been happening over the last 24 hours with Weirdo. What do you got for us, Weirdo?
Well, in England, they are finally catching up with the times.
Oh, what do you mean?
They are locking it down with like cyber laws, which is fantastic.
Okay, yeah. Well, you know, I look at UK and Europe in general as kind of like moving that forward as far as technology is concerned and trying to get ahead of it, especially when it comes to AI and things like that. So what's the cyber laws that they're cracking down on?
So the very, very first man to actually get sentenced based on this cyber flashing law, really.
Oh, it's a cyber flashing law.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, there's been this like trend of like if you're on public transport, somebody using Bluetooth or AirDrop.
Yes.
For unsolicited D-pics.
The Air D drop, which is something that was problematic a few years ago. You don't hear too much of that in America, too much so anymore. But I think people are just kind of keen to not open up airdrops from strangers in public, right?
Exactly. But unfortunately, this dude, Nicholas, he's 39. He did it to a woman and also a teenage girl.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So that's where it gets scary because, again, if it's like teen girls, like they don't know.
Right.
Most adult women now, it's like, no, I'm not opening anything from somebody I don't know.
Yeah, and that's what makes it super dangerous for the offender in general, because you're just throwing out an airdrop to anyone who has their Bluetooth open.
Yep.
And you don't know who has a Bluetooth open. You know, you look around the room and it could be anyone.
Yeah.
So super weird and a crazy fetish for somebody, you know? Yeah. Anyways, so what did they do to this guy?
So he got 66 weeks in jail. So he will serve just over a year.
All right.
Yeah.
It seems like they could have been a little harder on the punishment, but maybe he was flaccid in the pictures.
And maybe they're like, you know what? We feel bad. But the Crown Prosecution Service introduced new powers to prosecute crimes including cyber flashing, sharing deep fake nude images, and something called down blousing.
Down blousing is what?
When you take pictures of somebody like up the skirt or down their blouse.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Pervs with technology. It's been a thing that we've been dealing with for a long time. Interesting, too. You know, the fun fact that I kind of remind people with in Japan, in the entire country of Japan, you're not allowed, there is no phone that will allow you to take photographs in silent. Every single phone is wired, hardwired to where if you take a picture, it has like a camera sound effect. So they know when you're taking pictures. And that was because so many people were doing upskirts and, you know, perverted pics.
God.
So I know. Well, you know, us men, you know, we're dirty creatures. What can I say, weirdo? What else you got going on in weird news?
Well, we've got the Paris Olympics coming up this year.
Okay,
and,
nice.
you know, following the pandemic in 2019, right, we delayed Tokyo. And they also put in, you know, social distancing and also no love making.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Oh, which is problematic. Each and every Olympics, when it comes around, it turns into a secret orgy. Right?
Oh my God, yes. In Rio de Janeiro in 2016, they handed out 450,000 condoms.
Yes, I do recall that.
Mhm.
And it makes sense too, because you got all these prime athletes who are like in the best shape of their lives.
Exactly.
All hanging out together in the quarters. And yeah, everyone looks good.
Yeah. So Paris will be handing out a total of 300,000 condoms. So not as much as Rio, but still it is being celebrated as coming back, that they can finally bang again.
Yeah. They're in Paris and France, they're not that concerned about STDs.
No, it's the
They're
love
like, "Eh."
capital of the world.
Exactly. If you get someone pregnant, you get someone pregnant.
You know,
Yeah.
it happens. But yes, this will be enough to give 2 condoms per day per person for the entire event.
And honestly, they need at least 2 per day because, again, they're in that shape where they could recharge very quickly. Man, if I had Olympic person stamina, ooh, yeah, I'd be a porn star. All right. Give me one more story here, weirdo.
Well, finally, a law is passing in Tennessee that should have probably, been in effect for a long time, which is they're now going to finally put a stop to first cousin marriages.
Oh, finally.
Yeah.
In fact, actually, our top story for our podcast broadcast today, we'll be talking about incest and how common it is in certain states throughout the country, and some of the hardcore effects of incest. I mean, there's literally people who have a blue skin condition. They look like Smurfs, and this is because of incest. And the reason why this story was even brought up is because 23andMe. A lot of people were discovering that they had incestual genes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and people also need to realize, like Charles Darwin, right? He went to research evolution. Why? Because he also married his first cousin, because it was, again, about keeping the line pure and all that. And he realized, he's like, this can't happen for generations, because all of his children died because of incest and all the effects that it had.
Right.
So we can actually thank Darwin for, coming from a long line of incest to finally figure it out of like, oh, evolution's a thing and there's a reason why.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, you should see some of these pictures and stuff. That's
Blue
happening.
Skin, though.
Yeah, at 9 a.m. And there's a lot of states. Of course, the usual suspects, the South, but there are also a couple states outside of the South region where you're just like, ooh. And one's Montana. And I'm like, okay, well, per capita,
there's 6 people there.
Right. It's not that big of a population, so your options are limited. And then after a while, your second cousin, you're like, oh, looking pretty good.
Yeah.
And considering the options are that or nobody.
Well, I think it was last year, like Greenland and Iceland, because they're so like secluded, that they had to do the same thing on dating apps. That they had to make sure, because nobody leaves Greenland, right?
Yeah.
You don't leave very often, and not a whole lot of tourists going there. So they had to make a dating app to make sure that you weren't accidentally dating a long lost cousin.
Wow, it's crazy world we live in for sure. Well, that's Weird News, Weirdo. We're gonna hit the reset. Be back with more Beef Vegan Presents after music from Stone Temple Pilots and Rock 102.1.
Hot self-loving by your mom.
Awkward. It is awkward.
Did you do something that got you fired from your job?
I just get stupider.
It's fun being stupid.
Don't hide this in vain. Let us laugh at your pain. Call 600-KFMA right away.
I promise we won't embarrass you.
Because Beef Vegan presents F My Life. F My Life. F My Life.
Yes, it's time for another edition of Your F My Life. These are unfortunate situations emailed to us, beefvegan@kfma.com, subject line FML. But of course, if you have an F My Life you care to share on the air, you give us a call at 600-KFMA, and that's 600-5362. And if Weirdo and I agree your life is effed, we'll hook you up with a pair of tickets for Dimitri Martin, who's performing at the Fox Theater on April 6th. Are you ready, Weirdo?
I am.
All right, here's our first F My Life email sent to me by Larry. Larry said, one time, a cop almost rear-ended my car, slammed on the gas with no warning, swerved around me, flipped me the bird, then cut me off and drove a full 10 miles under the speed limit. When I changed lanes to overtake him, he pulled me over for road rage.
That's BS.
Like, so infuriating.
That's
for sure.
Super abuse of power right there.
Yeah, well, hopefully it didn't happen here in Tucson, but F My Life for Larry, what do you say? Yeah, we agree, Larry, for sure. I wonder what that ticket was like. All right, next F My Life sent to me by Leo. Leo said, last October, I was having a birthday dinner with my girlfriend and her parents when her dad asked what I got her. She replied, he said he was going to give me a pearl necklace when we got home. I realized then that my girlfriend did not know what I meant by pearl necklace.
Oh no. Dude, her dad's gonna shoot you.
Yeah, dude, just imagine the look on the face and just like, oh, really? Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got, you broke-ass mother.
Oh, your girlfriend's so naive.
I know. She sounds adorable. All right, F my life. What do you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Hilarious. And, you know, you can't tell these kind of jokes to some women. They just don't get it.
Mm-mm.
All right, next F my life. And then she's going to be super disappointed because she was probably going to really have an accessory.
Right.
You know?
Like, oh, I'm going to have this fancy piece of jewelry.
Yeah, it's going to be totally expensive and stuff. Yeah. All right, let's move forward. I know we're stuck on this, but let's move forward.
Okay.
All right, Craig, I said yesterday I walked out into my backyard. As I did so, my dogs ran past me, slamming the sliding glass door off its track. I went to catch it and knocked the bird cage over. To complete the fumble, as I turned to catch the bird cage, I stepped in a dog turd. I wasn't wearing shoes. We're okay, but F my life?
Yes.
Yes.
It's a bad Saturday morning.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I'm a klutz, right? And that's just like, it's like you trip, but you don't immediately fall. You just keep tripping, and more like problems happen for sure. This happens a lot, and definitely after life, Greg. I feel your pain. All right, next up, my life email sent to me by Madi. Madi said, recently my father informed me that he plans to play a drum solo instead of making a speech at my wedding. And yes, he is completely serious.
All right, then. Yeah, I would uninvite him.
Yeah, well, I mean, drum solos kick ass for sure, but I mean, I guess
awkward though.
What
Like instead of a wedding speech,
maybe it's a drum solo from the heart. You know, some guys don't have the ability to speak on how they feel, and don't like to cry publicly in front of a group of strangers. I can imagine, for this father's sake, that he's going to be uber emotional seeing his daughter get married. I know, just even thinking about it myself gets me all like a ball of tears, right? So instead, he takes the manliest approach and just beats things.
Yeah, but the only thing that's going to make this even more awkward is he gets so emotional. He's now crying while playing the drums.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably will too. Now I'm imagining like John C. Reilly and Step Brothers.
That's what I was also thinking.
I love it.
Jesus.
Yeah. So we'll agree to disagree and move forward. Okay. Congratulations on your wedding. All right, final up my life of the day, sent to me by Becca. Becca said, today I was telling my mom that my boyfriend started an argument because I've not been feeling well, so I haven't cooked or wanted sex for a week or so. My dad piped up that if my mom used such a lame excuse to avoid mouth hugs and cooking, he'd damn well start an argument too. And my mom agreed with him. It's amazing. F my life, what do you say?
Yeah.
You say F my life.
Right.
That's crazy too, because I'm just like, wow, that sounds like a perfect marriage right there.
And that's why you're single.
You might be right.
That's just more about your parents' sex life than you ever needed to know.
Okay, so for that, you say F my life.
Yeah.
Okay. And I will agree with you on that aspect. But it does sound like your parents have been married a long time and happy and still very active. And that's a pretty good thing. So, sometimes you got to look to your elders and be like, what's the secret of your happiness and your success in your relationship over 40 years?
Arguments.
No. It's like cooking and mouth hugs. And like, yeah, that sounds like a fantastic marriage right there. Okay, yes, this is why I'm single. All right, let's hit the reset. There's your F My Life. So you got your keyword coming up next and Beef Vegan Presents, so don't go away.
When you wish upon a side of beef, soon will come an end to all your grief. But if you've been mean or kind of bad, I will knock out all your teeth.